I never imagined my own daughter, the one I raised with everything I had, would shove me to the floor at our Christmas dinner table just to give my seat to her mother-in-law. But that night, January 14th, 2024, I made a decision that would change her life forever. By morning, 52 missed calls would flood her phone, and the consequences of her betrayal would hit harder than she could have ever expected. Before we dive into this shocking story, hit that subscribe button and tap the bell icon. We drop new stories like this every day. Leave a like and tell us in the comments which city you're watching from. My name is Richard Thompson, and this is the night my world and my daughter's turned upside down. I'm Richard Thompson, 70 years old, a Chicago businessman who built a construction empire from nothing. After losing my wife, Clara, 6 years ago, my daughter Emma became my everything. I gave her everything: private schools, a corner office, even named her CEO of Thompson Builders. Christmas Eve 2024, I arrived at Emma's Lakeview mansion with gifts for my grandkids, Lily, 14, and Ethan, 11, and a $500 bottle of Bordeaux I'd saved for a special night. The house smelled of roasted turkey and the table was set for 8, though we were only 6. I felt a strange tension, but brushed it off. "Grandpa!" Lily and Ethan ran to hug me, their warmth melting my heart. Emma's greeting was colder, her smile forced. "Hi, Dad. Glad you're early," she said, eyes avoiding mine. Her husband, Mark, barely nodded. Then Emma said, "My mother-in-law, Helen, is coming." Helen Carter, 68, was my silent rival in the industry. When she arrived, Emma's demeanor shifted. She was all smiles for Helen. I took my usual seat at the head of the table, where I'd sat for years since Clara's passing. But as Helen approached, Emma's face hardened. "Dad, you need to move. That seat's for Helen, our guest of honor." I was stunned. "Emma, this is my place in the family." The room went silent. Lily gripped Ethan's hand. Then Emma walked over, put her hands on my shoulders, and pushed hard. At 70, my knees buckled, and I hit the floor in front of everyone. The kids gasped. Helen smirked. Emma's voice was ice. "This seat belongs to my mother-in-law. Get out." My heart shattered, not just from the fall, but from the betrayal of my only daughter. From the cold floor, I saw my grandkids' horrified faces. Lily whispered, "Grandpa, are you okay?" I lied, "I'm fine, sweetie," but inside a storm was brewing. Emma sat Helen in my chair, and dinner continued like I was invisible. Mark praised Helen's business ideas, while Emma nodded eagerly. They were plotting a merger with Helen's company, my company, without my input. I excused myself to the bathroom, locked the door, and stared in the mirror. The man looking back wasn't broken. He was furious. I made 3 calls that night. First to my lawyer, Stephen Grant. "Stephen, revoke all Emma's powers of attorney in Thompson Builders. Cancel every financial guarantee I've co-signed. Her house, cars, cards, everything." He warned, "This will ruin her." I replied, "She ruined us first." Second, to my CFO, Maria Lopez. Freeze all joint accounts with Emma. Suspend her salary and benefits. Third, to my deputy, Carl Evans. Clear Emma's office by morning. She's no longer CEO. You are. Leave a note on her desk. This office is not for you. I returned to the table, calm but burning inside. Emma didn't even look up. I left without a goodbye, but as I drove home, I made one final call to my estate lawyer. "Change my will. Emma gets nothing. My grandkids inherit it all." By midnight, my study was lit. Documents spread out. Emma thought she'd won, but I held the real power. Christmas morning, Emma woke to chaos. Her phone lit up with 52 missed calls, banks, creditors, suppliers. Miss Thompson, your mortgage is in default. Your corporate cards are blocked. Your car lease is terminated. She stood in her kitchen, still in pajamas as her world crumbled. Mark, her husband, was frantic. "What's happening, Emma?" She tried calling me, but I'd blocked her number. At 10 a.m., she rushed to Thompson Builders. Carl sat in her office. On her desk, my note. "This office is not for you." "You're fired," Carl said. "Loss of confidence." Emma read my letter. "You showed me my place in your life no longer exists. Now you have no place in my company. Vacate my properties by noon." By 11 a.m., tow trucks took her Mercedes. By noon, an eviction notice hit her $800,000 mortgage. Mark packed a bag. "I can't do this, Emma." Her kids watched, confused. Lily asked, "Mom, why did you push Grandpa?" Emma had no answer. In 12 hours, she lost her job, home, car, and marriage. She tried to impress Helen, but Helen called. "Emma, you disrespected your father. I can't trust you." Emma was alone, with $200 in cash and a suitcase in a city that no longer welcomed her. Emma checked into a $50 a night motel, her savings gone. Chicago's construction industry shunned her. My name carried weight, and her betrayal was gossip. Desperate, she took a job as a night cleaner for $1,000 a month. Her hands, once signing contracts, now scrubbed floors. She shared a cramped apartment with strangers, ate cheap noodles, and rode buses. But the real pain was her kids. Lily and Ethan lived with Mark's parents, who blamed Emma. During weekly calls, Ethan asked, "Mom, why were you mean to Grandpa?" Emma cried, unable to explain. She overheard Lily tell a friend, "Mom made a big mistake." The words cut deep. Yet, cleaning offices at 3 a.m., Emma began to change. Her coworkers, immigrants, single moms, taught her humility. She listened to their stories, shared their coffee breaks, and realized privilege had blinded her. She lost 15 pounds from labor and stress, but gained clarity. One night, staring at Chicago's skyline from a skyscraper she cleaned, she remembered my lessons about respect. She'd ignored them, chasing Helen's approval. Now she saw her arrogance. Her kids' calls kept her going. Lily said, "Grandpa still loves us, but he's sad." Emma knew she'd hurt me deeply, but she wasn't sure if she could fix it or if I'd ever listen. By July 2025, Emma had worked 6 months as a cleaner. Her supervisor, Carla, promoted her to team lead for her work ethic, raising her pay to $1,400. She moved to a tiny studio, her first step toward stability. Meanwhile, my life had changed. I partnered with Helen Carter, Emma's ex-mother-in-law, on a skyscraper project. We clicked. Her respect for my experience matched my vision. We picked up Lily and Ethan from school, laughing over blueprints. One day in Lincoln Park, I sat with the kids. Ethan asked, "Grandpa, are you mad at Mom forever?" I hugged him. "I love you both, but your mom made a choice. Adults face consequences." Lily said, "She's different now. She works really hard." I nodded, unsure. The kids proposed separate visits. Wednesdays with me, weekends with Emma. I agreed, but said, "We don't talk about your mom." They nodded, wise beyond their years. Emma learned this through Ethan, who said, "Grandpa's proud of you, Mom, but he's not ready." Emma realized I wasn't cruel. I was teaching a lesson. She began writing a letter, not for forgiveness, but to show she'd changed. It took weeks to perfect. She wanted me to know the daughter I raised was finally learning what I tried to teach her all along. On Christmas Eve 2025, exactly 1 year after the betrayal, Emma mailed her letter. It arrived at my home on January 2nd. I sat in my study, the same room where I had planned her consequences. The envelope was plain, her handwriting shaky. "Dear Richard," it began. Not Dad, a sign she respected my distance. "I'm not writing for forgiveness. I'm writing to thank you. Pushing you that night was the worst mistake of my life. I lost everything, deservedly. Cleaning floors taught me the dignity of work you always valued. My kids taught me love is stronger than pride. I'm not the entitled CEO anymore. I'm a woman rebuilding with honesty." She detailed her journey, the motel, the calloused hands, the lessons from coworkers. "You didn't destroy me. You showed me who I could be." I read it 3 times, my eyes wet. I wasn't ready to see her, but I was proud. I wrote back, "Emma, I'm glad you're growing. I hoped you'd learn. I'm not ready for contact, and maybe I never will be. But know I'm proud of the woman you're becoming. Keep going." I mailed it, feeling lighter. She'd earned my respect, even if our bond was still broken. For the first time, I believed she might become the daughter I always hoped for. Emma received my reply in late January. She sat in her studio, reading my words. It wasn't forgiveness, but it was acknowledgement, a start. She pinned the letter to her wall next to photos of Lily and Ethan. Her cleaning job had become a source of pride, not shame. She wasn't rich anymore, but she was whole. She called Ethan. "Grandpa's proud of me, buddy." Ethan cheered. "Does that mean we're all okay?" Emma smiled. "Not yet, but we're getting there." Walking Chicago's streets, Emma reflected on the year. She'd lost her empire, but found her soul. My lesson wasn't revenge. It was justice. I protected my grandkids, rebuilt my company with Helen, and found peace. Emma learned that respect isn't inherited, it's earned. If you love this story, give it a like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more. Tell us your city in the comments, and click the box on the left for our next story. Thanks for watching.